more about Children International and join us in our life-changing work at children.org today. Together, we can help end poverty for good.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser, and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids' tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for a chance of rain tonight with a low around 53, Thursday cloudy with a high near 70, and Friday partly sunny with a high around 72. The Great Wall Restaurant serves up bold, authentic Chinese flavors. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, their Szechuan and Mandarin menu is packed with favorites. Visit them at 4515 France Avenue South or at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us. Meanwhile, in Prairie, we have Adam manning the board tonight. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well tonight. Looks like we are going to have an unbelievably good night of sleeping after we actually get out of here. Weather's going to be nice. And the weather tomorrow is even going to be even better. Almost 70 in Minnesota, and it will be the 16th of October.
Oh, well, you're listening to Patrick give the weather. I don't know if I would do...
I caught that off. I saw that off of Google today, so I'm going to take that one. But yeah, they're calling for like 70 degrees here tomorrow in Minnesota. This ain't right, man. This
whole year, yeah, the whole year weather-wise, it's kind of interesting. That's a whole other conversation. I got to tell you though, leading up to the show, you don't go on TikTok at all, right?
No, I don't even have the app.
So I post stuff for GhostBox on TikTok, and I'm hoping to get to the number of people so I can start doing like live spirit box sessions and stuff. But one of the videos, the types of videos that I've been watching, is there's one guy who does a prank, and they have a camera set up, and this guy, what he does is there'll be like he'll be outside, and there'll be like people walking towards him, and he'll just be standing, and all of a sudden he'll act like he's like possessed, and he'll arch his back. So he's going backwards, kind of like from The Exorcist when Regan went down, and because he can do that, and he starts screaming and starts like running after them like that. So it's like 6 of them in a row, and like one poor woman nearly fell down the stairs, and obviously that's not funny.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
I mean, yeah, actually, let's just be honest here. And then the other one is somebody who will set up speakers in the like a kitchen or something, that someone going into the kitchen to grab something doesn't realize it's there, and it'll play something, and you watch the person in the kitchen freak out. And so like one of them is like this little girl's voice, just like kind of otherworldly, like, help me. Can you find me? Can you see me? That's and then the other one, which is even super cruel, is machine gun fire. And one of them, when the machine gun fire sound happens, and I'm gonna be honest, to me it sounds very fake. So I mean, I'm not trying to say like make something really sound like it, but I mean, this one guy got so scared he ripped off the door of his cabinet. and it's just like, I'm sorry, that's funny. It wouldn't be funny if it was done to me, but it is funny. And so I don't know, maybe we can do that. What we could do is when Patrick's in, we can put an air horn under the chair, so when he sits on it, it goes off.
Oh, that would be amazing. He would have no idea. I honestly still think we should put a Ouija board in the studio right when Matt McNeil shows up and just watch him freak out.
Yeah, he would. Well, and I fear that the air horn thing would finish our dear friend Patrick off. I think that would expire him, quite honestly. I think that would be a bit much. Let's do it tomorrow.
I'll say I know where I can grab an air horn from.
Just
I know the guys from Pitbull, so I can grab an air horn from any of them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it was but yeah, so it's fun, and it's amazing how much you end up laughing at this stuff, that it's just like you're just by yourself and you're just laughing, and my cat stares at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? But it's like, where do we start with that?
See, you go with cruelty. I hang out on Reddit and watch funny animals.
Oh, I watch a lot of funny animals too. I mean, that's you've heard me. I watch all the videos with the cat saying hello, that sort of thing, and it never gets old. It never gets old for me. So, but the sounds like hidden in the kitchen, that's good stuff. I'm enjoying that quite a bit, and just people get weird. Or the haunted doll is another one where there's a doll that hooked up to like fish wire, a fishing line, and some guy will just be sitting at the couch, and I'd like to pretend that this isn't all like fake, because the reactions are pretty real. Like maybe there's kids and stuff in the house, and the doll like starts moving, and they have it where it like flies into a woman's face while she's trying to watch TV and freaking out. I mean, it's just man, and people listening at home and so that sounds pretty rude and pretty mean. You watch them, and I dare you to not laugh. I'm sorry. It's pretty funny. So
oh no, that's basically sounds like things I should do on April Fools.
Right. Or any day. I would say. I mean, really, why wait? That's what I say. So folks, tonight something came to my mind when I was watching some YouTube videos, and not with air horns and chairs and stuff, some other stuff. And I was looking at videos of someone who purportedly had some alien footage, like aliens themselves, and he was talking about how he thinks this is pretty real. And you look at it and it's kind of like, I don't think this is very real looking at all, personally. But I kind of thought to myself, I don't know how much footage is out there that, number one, that we say is alien footage, as well as number two, is it real? And it's a really hard question to answer. But there is it's something I wanted to talk about tonight, and I've done a little bit of research to look at some of the footage that we know exists. I mean, my thought is, first of all, I think there's probably a lot of stuff out there that we don't know exist, and I'm always going to be one of those people that believes that first of all, Roswell itself, Roswell in 1947, we had on an author of a book about it, talking about the bodies recovered, that there were a few of them that were alive, held in captivity, being interrogated, and ended up dying, not because we killed them, but we couldn't take care of them. And, and part of what we talked about with that was, the fact that if I remember correctly, and this was an interview that we did about 2 years ago, that the aliens were talking about their own families, and it's a kind of a real, I don't know why we wouldn't expect it to be this way, but it's kind of something I don't know if we all think about. And I say that generally speaking, that I tend to think of, aliens coming to Earth like Greys and stuff, and that they are, they're basically, clones of each other or something else. But here you had, and I believe that they were Greys, the way that they were being described, talking about their family, talking about how they took this mission, and that this mission was not supposed to go wrong, and that they were looking to see their family again, and then they ended up dying. And, you got to think that there's no way that film, this is 1947, so it'd be film footage exists in some government archive that is, that documented and has all the real information about Roswell. And so that kind of prompted me too. Can you imagine? I mean, that is something, Adam, that I personally don't think enough about, is like they were giving up, they were doing sacrifices on their end to do this exploration of our planet.
And I think a lot of us, especially those of us here in the Western Hemisphere, are almost conditioned to what we see on TV and in film. And, for the most part, it's Star Wars or Star Trek, and they don't really get into families outside of, Skywalker, in Star Wars. And they really don't talk about families at all in Star Trek either. And so we basically see, nothing but clones or Klingons or, whatever, Vulcans that are emotionless, essentially, other than anger or logic. And, I think we've almost been conditioned to think of anything outside of the realm of Earth to not have the same feelings, family structures, perhaps, as us humans do. And I think we could be way off base as, a species ourselves, being like, oh, they're just, anomalous beings in the sky without a backstory.
Yeah, I mean, and two, I think of like Independence Day, where there are ships that are, visiting Earth, and granted, they're very aggressive, and that Will Smith's character catches one, and he's punching it out and stuff like that, and it's like, but could we dare think for a second that maybe not everything that comes to Earth means us harm? And the fact is like what this was probably was some kind of scientific sort of exploration, and that there is a family unit on this other planet that never got their loved ones back, which what the good thing about that, there's nothing good about that per se, apart from the fact that it goes to show that love is, a universal language.
Oh yeah, because for all we know, those aliens could have been essentially they're like Buzz Aldrin type, first man on the moon, first, whatever species they are on the little blue dot.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, and I don't, it's so hard to say, but I mean, the thing is, it's like that. I mean, that it is very possible. Now, I did some research. It's kind of broken down into separate areas, but with the congressional hearings over the last couple of years, one of the things that we really were able to learn about was the infrared footage that were captured in cockpits of government airplanes, being such as the Tic Tac video from 2004, the Gimbal video from 2015, and the Go Fast from 2015 as well. That, one of the things is, and we can talk about, government cover up, till the end of the show just by itself. But, once again, these are pieces of footage of our own military saying we don't know what this is, and but the Pentagon says that they're unidentified, not necessarily alien. which I don't know. To me, it feels like if it's unidentified, that's actually a little bit more creepier, because to me, that it could also mean like some other like country espionage or something. It's an interesting thing, I think.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the footage that has attempted to be debunked, though everybody keeps claiming Lockheed Martin. But Lockheed Martin has come out and said, well, no, we don't have technology like that.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to some of the more tic-tac looking videos that the U.S. Air Force has released.
Absolutely. Now, I've not seen this one. And maybe you have the Mosul orb from Iraq in 2016. It started to be circulated in 2023. A brief spherical object filmed by U.S. surveillance aircraft, widely shared by Jeremy Corbell and press, but not formally attributed to extraterrestrials by Arrow, as we've talked about Arrow before. I've not seen that one myself. Jeremy Corbell, as much as I think that he weaponizes this subject, I mean, when he's able to share something, I am interested in what he has to share and his thoughts on it as well. Have you seen that? And do you know, because I don't know that one.
I have not seen that one.
No, I'm going to have to seek that one out here. And then let's see here. The Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, is from a 2013, a DHS thermal video. So long analyzed infrared video, famous for the object seemingly split in skimming over water. Now, I've seen this one. SCU argued it's anomalous. Arrow said assessed moderate confidence. It was 2 sky lanterns moving with the wind. That thing was in and out of the water, though. That thing was all over the place.
Yeah, I have seen that one. And if it's a sky lantern, then if they're talking about sky lantern as the ones like people will light with a lighter and then let go, it submerges. There's no way it still is having a light after it submerges. And it does, though. I will say it does look like it's 2 separate crafts.
Yes, if I remember correctly, it also looks like it does come together as one, though, as well.
Yeah, it's like it goes apart and then it will come back. And it to me, with that one going under and then coming back up in a matter of like a third of a frame, really, in the video, that one has always had me scratching my head, because I'm a firm believer that aliens do have underwater bases here in the ocean on Earth.
You've always said, I will admit, you've always said that. You've always thought that.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest theories. And when we've got that one, showing so close to the water, looks like it submerges, comes back up. To me, that's a spacecraft that can go above our atmosphere and obviously, go underneath the water. I'm a big fan of that one. I like that video.
Well, and the thing is, too, if they're 2 sky lanterns, or do they have like turbo engines in them? Because those things are wailing.
Yeah,
they are just absolutely. I mean, it's almost inconceivable how fast they are moving.
Yeah, and it's not like they were in a hurricane wind or anything like that either.
No, if they're moving that fast, if they were truly 2 sky lanterns, they would have been ripped apart. I mean, and blown, and let alone the light being blown out.
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't work that way at all. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about footage that civilians have seen. I mean, I don't know. Do we talk about the drones over the past years? I mean, I have an opinion on it. I know Adam does. What do you all think out there? Do you want to talk about them? But I also want to talk about one of the most craziest documentaries Fox ever ran, called Alien Autopsy. I mean, we'll talk more about that, but also talk about our memories of them too. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids' tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And I see psychic medium, refined divine, and probably Dave, might just even be Dave in the comments. And I do want to quickly remind everyone a couple things. First of all, go out to St. Cloud this weekend and check out their event that they're going to have. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be, I'm so excited for them. I hope that they have a really good turnout. If you say GhostBox when you come to the door, you will get you're going to get in for free. They're going to waive that. So please do so. Show Deb that she has a following through GhostBox Radio. I'd really appreciate it very much. We are talking about alien footage from over the years. What's out there and is it real? And here's one of my favorites, actually. Talking more of the civilian side of things. The Phoenix Lights from 1997. Massive, widely seen lights over Arizona. Lots of video exists. Later explanations point to flares and multiple events at night, but the case is still a staple. I'm sorry, it's not flares. You know what I'm talking about, Adam, with that?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that story even made like Entertainment Tonight and Inside Edition back in the day.
It did.
So I remember watching that footage, and I remember the Arizona governor at the time came out and said that it was a hoax, but now he is doubling back on that and saying, no, we still don't know what this is.
So what had happened was he, and I thought it was the mayor, actually.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Did I say governor?
Yeah. But he came out, did a press conference and said that they had proof that it was an alien. And then what came out was a man in a gray costume with an oversized alien head. And it, made a lot of fun of it. And as Adam said, in years gone by, he regrets that because he now believes that is actually UFO. He actually speaks at UFO conferences now to talk about it. And, it's unfortunate that, if he would have come out and been like, we don't know what it is, we're looking into it. I think things would have been maybe a little bit different as far as maybe more work gone into figuring out what that was. And I think that's a shame. Actually, I think that's a real shame. I mean, I'm just happy that eventually he's just like, okay, yeah, no, I just get it. Let's see here. What more? Very recent. I didn't realize it was this long ago. From 2023, the Las Vegas backyard beings.
Oh yeah,
yeah. family and 911 call plus backyard video after officers saw a green fireball. A forensic video caught analysts say the clip is original, not necessarily extraterrestrial. No official confirmation of what's in the yard, but that was that stuff was frightening. That's like Signs level frightening, the way that I think of that. You know, the movie, Mel Gibson movie Signs. You know, this that sort of like moment of the birthday party, and they see one of these aliens walking through. Yeah.
What got me about that is some of the video that was released at the time was the body cam footage of Las Vegas PD.
Yes, it was.
That to me, that lended so much credence to that story.
Yeah, I was glad that they did that, and you can hear like something thumped, something huge landed in the backyard, and they went running to see what it was. And no, that was that was really interesting stuff. And of all places, Las Vegas seems like a pretty legit place for it, actually, because it's not that far from Area 51, and you know, who knows how many aliens are in Las Vegas anyway. Yeah, no, that stuff was pretty chilling. Let's see, the Kumburgaz, Turkey, 2007 to 2009. This is another one I haven't seen. Zoomed night shots over the Marmara Sea. Enthusiasts claim you can see occupants. Skeptics suggest ships, optical effects, prominent in Turkish UFO circles. It's unresolved. I mean, that once again is right up your alley with all of this underwater malarkey. So, you know, there you go.
That video I have seen, and I'm kind of torn on that one because it does look like it looks like there are lights hovering above the water, but it is so dark. And when you see cruise ships out there in the middle of the water, it will look like lights are just hovering there. So that one, I'm kind of on the fence about. Mm-hmm. I want to believe that one. Call me Fox Mulder. I want to believe that one more than anything, because that would have been basically like if each light was to represent a different ship, that's like 7 ships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, to me, that one's one of my favorite ones.
Now, let's see here. The Fresno Nightcrawler, and I've seen this one on Paranormal Caught on Camera, so almost immediately I'm like, it's not real. But spinally walking pants figures on home closed-circuit television became a modern cryptid legend. At least one later replication was admitted as fabricated. Originals still disputed. So, have you seen that at all?
I've seen that one, and I've seen a second video, which supposedly came from about 40 or 50 miles away, also there in California. But there's 2 of them, and they're caught on a trail cam.
Yes, that one's like the hill, right?
Yeah,
they're going down the hill. Yeah.
Yep. So I've seen both of them. To me, I think if it is an alien, which I don't know, unless you're Jim Henson, how you're making that thing move like that. I think there would be more of that mantis species of alien.
Well, to be fair, if it was Jim Henson, then we move that over to paranormal. So
very true, very true. Anybody else got a headache?
Why are there so many songs about UFOs? That's well, thank you. So yeah, that was interesting. Stacy says Fresno Nightcrawlers are my favorite cryptids. That's interesting. Like I said, I saw it on Paranormal Caught on Camera, and almost immediately I'm just like, well, you know, let's talk about the Paranormal Caught on Camera UFO footage on the very first episode of Paranormal Caught on Camera in the the UFO district of Mystic Lake in Prior Lake, Minnesota. They're looking at these spheres in the sky, and it's their information, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is incredible, look at that. And all the people who do the show, oh my gosh, this is clearly UFO. Well, it's a cloudy night, and it's right outside a casino in Minnesota, right, not too far from the station at all, actually, Mystic Lake. And it's when they have their skylights going, it forms a teepee. And when it's cloudy out, overcast, it hits the clouds, and it looks like a circle of lights. and everyone on Paranormal Caught on Camera thought for sure those are UFOs. No, they are in fact lights. Sorry, buddy.
You want to know where you can recreate that? If you go to that Walmart parking lot, which is probably about 4 or 5 miles away from the casino, on a cloudy night, you know exactly where that video was taken from. And yeah, I've seen that video probably 30 times, and it's like, no, people, that's just Shakopee being Shakopee.
And that's the thing that's just really shocking about it is this isn't something that Mystic Lake just started to do. Mystic Lake opened up in the early 90s. This has been around for 30 years. How can anyone think, whoever was the one that submitted it, they must just been like, yeah, we're going to fool some people here, because it just was absolutely like, I watching it, I'm like, well, this show lost credibility immediatty.
Yep.
So
Scene 1, episode 1, season 1. Goodbye.
Well, this is crap, but luckily the thing here is that networks don't try to hoax people when it comes to aliens. And probably one of the greatest alien footage programs ever is Alien Autopsy from 1995, hosted by none other than Commander Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation, Jonathan Frakes. And we were talking about this the other day. I'm gonna say it again. I have no problem saying this. I fell for this hook, line, and sinker when it ran. I'm just sitting there like, yes, it shows that they exist. This is pretty cool. And they got me easily. They got me.
Oh, they got me too. I could not sleep without a light on for probably about a week.
Yeah, you're something, that's for sure.
And then fast forward to like 2010, 2011, and this job that I take puts me right next to our data center, and I have this big glass window next to my office, and it looks exactly like the Alien Autopsy Room. Talk about PTSD.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a really interesting thing. And I don't know. I mean, in a way, I miss those days when we could be fooled, but it wasn't harmful. It was just like and there wasn't a whole lot out there like these type of programs about that. And so in 2006, producer of Alien Autopsy, Ray Santilli, admitted it was a reconstruction fake inspired by lost film, just kind of, like although that was the rage around that time of look, we found this film of whatever. And
oh yeah, the lost footage genre.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, it's like I really wanted to, and they went out of you and I were talking about this the other day. They went out of their way in the documentary to show that this was shot on film that was made. The film like stock was made, around the time of Roswell. So that was because that I don't remember if they said this was a Roswell alien or kind of heavily implied that was what it was. And that was, it was absolutely, I was riveted from start to finish. When we go to commercial breaks, like, come on, let's get back. This is amazing.
And honestly, I think that probably should have been our first clue. Was the fact that, commercial breaks, and it's on Fox, the same network that does the X-Files. But very much like you, I'm like, I am down for this. Give me my popcorn, give me a soda. I want to see this.
And that's just it. Well, and I think too that I'm gonna have to seek this out. I bet it's on YouTube, and I got to seek this out again and see how they approached it. If they kind of were like, we believe that this is what it is, but do you, sort of thing, Stacy says, I remember watching it and was terrified. It could have changed everything around. And I remember thinking in the back of my mind that like this thing is a little rubbery, like solid rubbery sort of thing. But I thought, well, that's rigor mortis, right? I mean, that must be what that is. I don't know, but they're pulling out its eyes and everything.
Like, yeah, and I know nothing about special effects at that point in my life, so it's like, and they're cutting into it, and you start seeing seepage. It's like, this has got to be real.
Oh yeah, no, it was pretty graphic actually for its time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty incredible. And you got to think too a little bit. I mean, would William Riker put his name to something like this if it wasn't real? I don't know. I mean, it's just incredible. Just incredible. Good times.
I thought it was absolutely fascinating. And I remember I had recorded it as well and watched it back a couple other times too with some friends because I didn't want to watch it alone again. But as a teenager in 1995, when this came out, me and my buddies, this was the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
We all know aliens are out there now. And our theory was they came from the black hole that's behind the sun. That's the only way they could make it to us from whatever far distant galaxy they were from. So we had this entire theory that black holes were actually wormholes that aliens used. It was 1995.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was a little bit older. I was 21. But when you want to believe, and I do not regret that one bit, because it was fun. It was just fun to see that kind of stuff. And he did another one. Riker hosted another one. It's not his name. Jonathan Frakes did another one though, about the moon landing. Did you remember that one at all?
No, I did not watch that one.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't too far, I don't think, from when that one was on, maybe even like 96 or something, where like, is the moon landing real? So he had his finger on the pulse of all the stuff I wanted to know about. So,
and then was it in the late 90s, early 2000s? He also hosted Fact or Faked, Beyond Belief.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Well, these must have been the pilots for it.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
I like those kind of shows, though.
I do too. There's also another one. This is what got me into this conversation tonight. This was what I was watching on YouTube over the weekend. Is the Skinny Bob clip, supposed KGB legacy footage of a gray, no verified source, visual effects analysis points to modern overlay fonts, but no definitive author had claimed it. Highly debated internet classic. And I was watching this, and the footage, they're saying that this alien looks pretty real, but to me, as they said in this video I saw, even though this guy is kind of like, I'm kind of leaning towards this is real, he himself had proven that the scratches on the film are scratches that you could like buy as an overlay from Pond 5, which is you can get just all sorts of different types of footage and stuff from them to use however you want. And he was talking about how these fonts are clearly, not part of the footage stuff. Yet at the same time, he's still like, but I don't know, this is pretty good stuff. It's like, no, it's clearly not real. And yet he's still holding on to it. I mean, I think Alien Autopsy from 1995 looks a lot more real than that personally, but, very interesting though. It's very interesting that, are we looking at footage through all this of stuff that we might think is not real, but in fact could possibly be real? I really don't know. That's what's fascinating about it to me.
Okay, so I just pulled up Skinny Bob. Yeah, I've seen that one. That one to me, that's intriguing.
You're not 100%. You think that there's a possibility to that?
Sadly, yeah.
Don't apologize for it.
There's a part of me that likes how the head on that one looks as opposed to other ones.
Why put so much stuff over it though? Why put grain and fonts and stuff that but yet at the same time there are easy giveaways. Like, I don't know. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, that one I like. But to an extent, I like how the head looks on that one. It does look like he's wearing a turtleneck, though.
I thought the blinking gave it away to me. The blinking doesn't work for me personally. But that's just me.
But at the same time, we don't know how aliens blink. I thought that, especially when I was younger, that they would blink kind of like a snake had the two sets of eyelids.
Oh, interesting. Those are probably reptoids that do that.
Most likely, but that's kind of how I had it, in my mind, for several years. In fact, still to this day.
Yeah.
But then, we have someone on like Travis Walton. He's like, they never blinked.
Well, that's true too, and I didn't think about that. But I mean, when I say you don't, how they blink, to me it looks CG. I guess is where I'm coming from with that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I've never really cared for how you blinked either. So I mean, there's that as well.
One eye than the other.
Right, right. Do them in unison. So let's go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, I want to talk about a situation that the urban legend has been that real footage was going to be supplied by the government for a documentary in the 1970s, and eventually it got pulled. Is that real? That's stuff that we're going to be talking about here, plus your questions. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to play the second part of our interview talking about Omnipresent with author Lynn Monet. It's a fantastic conversation, and what she had gone through in her house is truly frightening, and sharing the information on that is really something. And if you haven't heard this before, it's well worth a listen. So we're going to be replaying that tomorrow. We're going to be doing Casual Friday this week, so stick around for that. That's always good. I mean, unless, of course, some tickets to Paul McCartney miraculously land in my lap before Friday. Well, I have a feeling I'll be seeing you all Friday then. But it's going to be good. And then Saturday, I'm going to be at the Charvinity Fair, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on Friday as well. I'm going to have a table there, and it's going to be a great time. It's over at the Bloomington Hilton, and we'll put up information about that as well. But if you'd like to learn more about that on Saturday and Sunday, you can go to charvinityfairs.com, and you can learn about all that as well. And as well, too, once again, Refined Divine Deb is having her event in St. Cloud on Saturday as well. If you go there and say GhostBox at the door, you get in for free. So very exciting. Lots of great stuff going on. So definitely check it out. I don't have to say any more about Theater in the Round with their ghost hunt that they're having over at the theater, because it's sold out. So that
was quick.
That was really quick. And I kind of figured that when we had them on, that it wasn't really to help them sell, but more so we could just talk about it, because it sounded like it was going to go pretty quick anyway. So that's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about that too is it's a fundraising event. So that's money that goes directly back into the theater. and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm happy to hear that they're doing well. And AM 950 is sponsoring and advertising with them about a lot of their shows coming up. So it's a great partnership, and I'm excited to hear about that. So yes, we got that. Now, we have talked about a lot of different things here, but one of the things that has always been fascinating to me, and this is actually, some believe that this is kind of the impetus of what Steven Spielberg decided that he wanted to create Close Encounters of the Third Kind from, is that Robert Emmenegger, and I said that wrong, did a 1970 documentary project that became known as UFOs Past, Present, and Future. That came out in 1974. It was later recut as UFOs, It Has Begun. And that was a re-release in 1976 and 1979. And Emmenegger has long said that the U.S. Air Force Department of Defense initially cooperated and promised him footage of a supposed 1964 Holloman Air Force Base landing, but that the real film was pulled before release, so the movie used a dramatic recreation narrated by Rod Serling instead. No authenticated Holloman landing footage has ever been released. Claims that a few real frames slipped in have been debunked as part of the reenactment. Now, this is really interesting to me because this is a UFO film that was done in the 1970s. It was narrated, like I said, by Rod Serling, and it actually had the government helping put this together. So as Adam watched the film very recently, you know, that there are shots in the Pentagon for this film, in the Pentagon for a UFO documentary. And they were there knowing that it was being shot for a UFO documentary. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people say, well, that never really happened. That was never really going to be the case. I believe it. I think that this was legit. And at the last minute, the government kind of got cold feet and like, nope, we're not going to do it, and pulled it all. But they had been, part of the project the whole time up until that moment. And it was literally last minute.
And they do have, and nowadays when you hear about government officials or people from the Air Force, Marines, or whatever that come out and talk about it, they're always retired. In this film, the people they are talking to are current United States Air Force higher ranking officials. And another thing to go along with it too is nobody gets to shoot inside the Pentagon. Nobody.
Exactly.
That's like taking a camera into the White House or the Capitol, into the more secure areas. That doesn't happen. They had this access. That tells me the U.S. government did get cold feet as this was about to be released.
Yep, it's one of those wonderful things, and it's really interesting that this film doesn't. I don't think it gets the recognition that it deserves, because I think because the film itself is interesting, but it is a little dry. It's a little, we were talking before the show started, and it's like it's not even a product of its time. To me, it seems like a product of the 1950s almost, but shot in color in the 1970s. It's just a very interesting piece.
It is, and how they did the interviews does not look like a 1970s documentary at all. It is shot like it would have come out in the earlier days of the talkie films, how they shot it. But all the people they interview on there, to me, they all seemed very legit. They had this one that was a police dispatcher that's talking about how one of the police officers had seen a object on the ground that was standing on 4 legs, that was obviously a machine making machinery sounds. And they're talking to the dispatcher because he was the one who was willing to talk for this. And then they show like even the sketch of the police sketch of the scene. And it is absolutely amazing that what they had on there. And they're talking about how bushes were still on fire once the police officer arrived.
Yeah.
He had taken photos of those. Those photos were not released, but the drawings of the police report were. To me, that lends so much credence to that film.
And the fact too, and this doesn't lead credence to the film per se, but more of the idea of a time that has passed is the Bible readings.
Oh yeah,
Like
it starts right off with that.
you're not going to get those nowadays. And it's just like, wow, everything. It's such it's not officially available, but it is available on YouTube for those who want to see it. Once again, it's called UFOs Past, Present, and Future. And as Adam pointed out to me, there are a couple versions on YouTube. You want to make sure you get the longer version, the one that's like about an hour and a half, not the one that's an hour, which I wonder if that's the one that's recut and was UFOs It Has Begun.
I believe it was, because the two that are on YouTube are the straight up TV broadcast versions of it with the commercial still in it.
Oh,
so if you really want to go take a time capsule back, a couple of them still have the spots.
I think that's really cool, actually. I'll probably have to watch both. I think I might even put on the longer version tonight, actually, and give it a watch, because it's, you gotta, the way that we kind of talk about it is it reminds me a lot of the old In Search of episodes with Leonard Nimoy. That was made after this, but they're kind of cut from the same cloth in terms of just kind of the pace of it. We have these documentaries, and this is, started in the 90s, early 2000s till today, where it's all about, being exciting and fast paced and keep you on the edge of your seat and keep you guessing and stuff. And I prefer these kind of documentaries where it just lets the story unfold, and you're just going from one instance to the next in some often chronicalized order. And that's what I love about this, is that it's just the facts. It's nothing fancy, but it's so good.
And unlike a lot of documentaries you see today, you don't see the documentarian at all. It is all about the experiencers and the witnesses.
Yeah. And there is I'm trying to remember. The one documentary was done in Australia called Sir No Face, and this is one where they went to a location in Australia, and I can't remember what it was, but it was they were looking for spirits and ghosts and stuff, and they get this shot of something looking at them through a doorway, and they believe it's not ghost. They think it's alien because it looks like a gray. And this stuff is really interesting, but to me, once you start digging into that one in particular, it becomes more about the host and the documentary producer than about really anything, in my mind, to do with aliens. And I find that, like, that's not what I want. I want to know about these situations. I don't want the star to be the documentary maker or the host. I want it to be about the subject. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and that, to me, that's a good documentary.
That's a good documentary.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When you're the guy, a documentary should be a guy and a camera, and that's it. I don't want to see who's shooting the film.
No, unless something happens to them during, you know what I mean? Like they experience something.
Yeah, if they have an experience, absolutely turn the camera around. But if you're just doing the interviews, I don't need to hear you or see you.
No. It's so true. And, and we're living in the age of TikTok and YouTube videos where people it's like, this is, it's more about them than about the experience, and the more intense experience, the better. But I don't think it has to be an intense experience to be able to learn and understand what the topic is,
Oh, you're 100% right on that.
And I'm tired of it. I really am. And it's so funny because stuff that I thought was, pretty tame back in the day, I remember my parents being annoyed by it. And here I am now, early 50s, and I find myself getting very annoyed by some of these more youthful productions. And, it's just an opinion, obviously, folks. If you all like that sort of thing, go for it. But I prefer personally just a more straightforward approach, especially when we're talking about this topic, because there's so much misinformation going around. I want it to be, straightforward, so we're not being misled either purposely or accidentally about what they're trying to tell us.
I'm going to imagine if creatures people, whatever we want to call them, from beyond the stars, if they have a message for us, I just hope it doesn't get diluted with AI and special effects and all kinds of things from people just trying to get to, X number of subscribers on some sort of social media platform.
I mean, and that's just it. I mean, from now out, any kind of newfound footage is immediately you're gonna have to really do a job to try to prove to me that it's real, because we're seeing within the last 2 months a thing called Sona that does AI, and it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And this is scary stuff, I think, because it's not only right now, it's a lot about cats making a getaway in a car, hissing at someone and driving away. When's it going to be something, like you or me or something doing something that we would never do? Those are the things that are frightening.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them of late. Mr. Rogers has been the latest guy that they've been hitting up.
Oh, yeah. Was it like the wrestling match between him and the guy who does the paintings on PBS?
Yep, and then there's another one where he's like playing heavy metal guitar, thrash or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those, and those are scary.
Those are scary. Folks, if you find any footage or you're watching any on YouTube and stuff, just, take a moment and kind of look through it and really try to discern whether or not you think that's real or not. I don't think I need to tell any of our listeners to not just take things at face value, because you all are very, very intelligent people. But, in this day and age, we all want to believe, just like with the alien autopsy, but there's always something to it. So just be careful about that as well. Once again, tomorrow, we're going to have Lynn Monet on talking about more about Omnipresent. Friday, we're doing Casual Friday. There, I want to talk about a paranormal investigation I did when I did a interview on Monday in Stillwater for a podcast. I want to talk about how we had some paranormal activity happen to us that I can't explain, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, Adam, it's good to have you join us on this Wednesday night. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we're going to be back on Friday live, but tomorrow with Lynn Monet. Everyone, have a fantastic night, and we'll talk to you soon.
The Tom Hartman Show. Now, that's Smart Radio, AM 9.